अंग्रेज अपना लगान और न्यूज लॉन्ड्री अपना हफ्ता कभी नहीं छोड़ते. Welcome to the 494th episode of NL Hafta. And before I even get into the headlines and introducing the panel, I just want to say that in a moment of excitement, I had committed that we will record our 500th episode live, just like we'd done, I think, our 200th episode live in Delhi. And many of our subscribers, all these live sessions happen in Delhi. So I said the 500th episode will be recorded live, but not in Delhi. Now, my colleagues in the team that manages finances have informed me that if we were to fly everybody out and record a hafta in an auditorium, we're looking at a cost of 4 to 5 lakhs. So I said, okay, ab commitment de diya to de diya, because we are like Salman Khan. So now I just want you to write to us at Abhinandan Sekhri at gmail.com. Abhinandan Sekhri at gmail.com. If any of our subscribers have friends, relatives, chacha, chachi, bhatija, uncle, auntie who have an auditorium, and we will set up a separate Sena project so that we can raise at least 3.5 lakhs. So at least our travel, etc. can be borne, and whatever, one day staying in local transport. But a big cost is going to be an auditorium. So if any of you in any city which has significant amount of subscribers has a place which can seat 100 people in an auditorium, we will come there and shoot. Of course, the options of Bangalore are there because our partners News Minute is there. So Dhanya and her team can join us from there. And there are a few options there as well. But even those are expensive options. So write to me at abhinandansekhri at gmail.com. Tell me where we can come and record this live. And then we'll have an interaction with the audience. And what can be done to subsidize that trip as far as many of you may have a hotel, so you can put us up, or an auditorium, right? So that's the opening. On that note, in the studio, we have our editor-in-chief, Raman Kirpal. Hello,
Hi.
sir. Manisha Pande.
Hello.
Oh, and I've come to the hafta after
and
3
you've come
hafta.
back after 3 weeks
3
of
weeks, yeah.
uninterrupted break.
First time I've missed so much of hafta, my God.
Did you miss Hafta?
Yeah,
Did you have withdrawal symptoms on Thursday?
I missed work.
Did you talk for 3 hours continuously
No, I didn't.
at someone? missing the podcast.
And joining us online from partner organization News Minute is Anisha Sheth. She's associate editor of the News Minute. She is a journalist and an educator. She's taught at ACJ, that's Asian College of Journalism. And she is in the past been in the Hindu and the New Indian Express and Reuters. Welcome, Anisha.
Hi.
Much excitement in your part of the world, huh?
Yes, things never seem to quieten down here, at least not for the last 4-5 months.
Yes, we shall get into that. And also joining us is Anuradha Bhasin. Welcome, Anuradha.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello. Most of our audience may already know Anuradha. She is a journalist for over 3 decades, executive editor of Kashmir Times. In fact, she has written for Newslaundry also quite often. Her work on the Kashmir conflict, human rights and politics has appeared in national and international publications, and she's the author of A Dismantled State, The Untold Story of Kashmir After Article 370. And if you want to read that book, the link is in the show notes below. You can order it, and I highly recommend it because books by credible journalists will only add to your knowledge and information, so you can become a more well-informed and rounded human being. On that note, Manisha Pande, what are the headlines? So on that note, let's get into the discussion. But first, this announcement: the Newslaundry News Minute joint subscription. Now, I would recommend you take this subscription because it gives you access to things on both platforms. We have launched this joint subscription because we can get a force multiplier of the Newslaundry reader and the News Minute reader and subscriber to support each other, so we can become a truly pan-India platform and we can get you news to rival any legacy media. So in July, we have many exciting stories coming up, which will be only for our subscribers. So there'll be a lot of paywall content both on their platform and on ours. So get the joint News Media Newslaundry subscription. Not just that, Dhanya Rajendran, the editor-in-chief of News Minute, publishes a newsletter called Power Trip. So you get access to the Power Trip too. And this month we are organizing a subscriber-only meetup, which is virtual on call, where yours truly and the worthies here and News Minute's editors will be there. So you can question us, give us ideas, get what we're doing, and have a face-to-face interaction. And that's only for the joint subscribers. So yeah, You can get the joint subscription by clicking on the link in the show notes below, or better still, you can go to the newslaundry.com, to our website or the News Minute website, click on the subscribe button and the optional pop-up. Get the joint subscription, please. So I just like to start quickly with Kashmir and then move on to Karnataka, north to south. Anuradha, there has been, this attack in Jammu, and after a very long time, this scale and this nature of attack has happened. And at least much of legacy media and even on social media, some former activists and other, political rivals have been telling us how wonderfully calm Kashmir is after Article 370 was removed, etc. And this comes as a rude awakening of that not entirely being the case. Is this an outlier of a pent-up anger, frustration, or Pakistan making the most of this system? Or is this peace we are being sold not there in the first place?
Several things here. But to begin with, yes, the thing is that we don't know much about Jammu and Kashmir post 2019, and maybe, add another year before that, since media kind of started disappearing from the scene. And ever since, there's been a complete erasure of what is happening on the ground of Kashmir's population. And by Kashmir, I mean, it's also an abbreviation for Jammu and Kashmir.
Right.
And so what is really happening on the ground hasn't been covered in detail. The ground realities are not being covered, and this is just being papered over by the official narrative. The media has turned into a public relations vehicle of the government, and that's for the local media as well as the national media was always,
Right.
It looked at Jammu and Kashmir from the lens of ultra-nationalism.
And what about the local media?
and-
How is that coping with this kind of, assault on freedom?
Yeah, that's what. So we really don't know what is happening on the ground. People don't get to hear. There is a complete erasure of Kashmir, and all you are hearing about is there's a lot of tourism. People are very happy. Have the people told you that? It's only the government who's telling you that. It's the tourists who come from outside and who are telling you, and you're churning these kind of stories. Or some, the new kind of circle of collaborators that have been created within Jammu and Kashmir, and which would happen under any regime. And they're the only ones. Where are the major voices? Have you heard community voices in any? Look at reportage on Kashmir. It is one of the most, and has been one of the most volatile places in India in the last 70 years. Today, we don't hear stories about it.
I think we had done a story, I don't know how long back that was, about the local media there getting completely eliminated. And we've also seen that from the kind of pitches that come. For earlier, journalists used to pitch stories to Newslaundry. Now, they only want to pitch lifestyle stories because
lifestyle and feature stories.
because they don't want to pitch hard news because it's a risk to their safety in Kashmir. So, I mean, we've also observed that, and I can tell our audience that earlier many freelance journalists used to pitch stories to us from Kashmir. Now, the only stories they pitch are lifestyle stories, something to do with ecology or something to do with some new mirch that is there or some lifestyle. They don't want to pitch because it's just too much of a risk for them. So, the local journalism has completely dried up there. Is it safe to say that?
We had a regular person who had been writing for us. We used to pitch him stories and he used to pitch stories to us. As Anuradha is saying, it's a state of fear. So even that person has stopped,
Right.
communicating with us.
Last month, there was this attack near Vaishno Devi, which again is not border. And I
9 persons had died.
9 people had died. And Nirupama had actually done a very good piece for us on how the theatre of violence is moving from Kashmir to Jammu. 2023, there were 5 attacks where about 20 people, 20 army officers, soldiers died. And this is going to be the biggest security threat or concern for the Modi government in its third term, because there's just a spate of attacks in a region which has relatively been peaceful.
But, I mean, it'll only be a point of concern if it's taken up, because I think now it has, if the media doesn't say it's happening, it's not happening. And that's pretty much how the government seems to be
If
taking
you see
things.
today, the means again, echoing what Anuradha has said.
Hmm.
If you see how the Indian Express has reported, the other media sources, every account, like Manisha said, they seem to be Pakistani. So is the
Right. Now, moving further down south. So, Anisha, like we started by saying that much excitement in Karnataka and many headlines, one involving the Cauvery water dispute, one involving
The
this
chief minister.
chief minister, and one involving this private reservation,
Oh,
which,
yeah.
in fact, today Indian Express has an editorial on how it's a terrible decision politically, economically, and even from the point of view of job creation.
And they just get stuck in the court because Haryana, Andhra Pradesh tried the same thing, but they didn't get the green light from the court. It got stuck. So you cannot pass it anyway because it'll get stuck at the court.
So let's start with the Kaveri water issue. I mean, it's a bit of an inconvenient one because, as long as Tamil Nadu, if it had a NDA favoring government, then it would be convenient for Congress and Tamil Nadu to, play against each other. But now these are allies. To appeal to your local population, local electorate, creating this entire issue is not wise, I guess, in the long run for either party. And unlike Delhi, which actually can completely get parched if it doesn't get water that is released from upstream, how much of either state really depends on this water? I mean, is it so significant, or is it more a political posturing thing for your local audience?
It's a bit of both actually, because like say for example, most of the water that is being used by Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, by the way, some water, like very tiny amounts, also go to Kerala and Puducherry. But the bulk of the water the largest portion goes to Tamil Nadu, followed by Karnataka, then Kerala, and then Pondicherry. But the most of the water that is shared as part of the award by the Supreme Court, for the dispute, is used for agriculture. And agriculture in parts of Karnataka, specifically southern Karnataka, what we call the Old Mysore region, and the delta districts of Tamil Nadu. And this is one part of it. But a lot of Bangalore's water supply, drinking water supply, also comes from the Cauvery. So Bangalore would actually kind of be parched, many areas at least, if that water supply did not come through. That's one thing. But with regard to political posturing also, so this thing about this so-called conflict between Kannada speakers and Tamil speakers, and therefore Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, is kind of old, but also slightly new. Because over a period of time, Tamil speakers have been projected as outsiders. New because in the 1980s onwards, things started taking a turn towards a kind of linguistic polarization. And that only got solidified in the last 10-20 years, and no chief minister in either Tamil Nadu or Kerala has ever been able to take a openly cooperative stand. Like, for example, even though they quietly do under the table.
Now, a related point being the reservations. Now, Siddaramaiah is walking back on this because also it is highly likely the court will not uphold this order of his. Is there any commentary in local media? I know at least the national dailies have called this out as a big mistake and a problematic move. But was this a political consolidation of his, mother tongue, Kannadigas, I'm your guy? Has it had the desired effect, or is it egg on his face? Now he's walking back and there are all sorts of, wiggle room is being provided by Spokies and himself to say, okay, we'll reconsider this. Has it backfired? Or what was the purpose of this?
The purpose of this, he alone can answer. Siddaramaiah alone himself can answer. But there is, the effect of it is that for a bit, it has taken some, attention away from the Muda land scam and so on and so on. But this is not the first time that this kind of domicile-based reservation was being proposed. It happened, I think, around 30 years ago also. So every now and then this thing keeps coming up. So this is not the first time that this has happened. Secondly, sorry, what was the other part of the question that you asked?
Has whatever it was desired effect was, has it had the desired effect? Is there a consolidation of his whatever
Positive
linguistic
sentiment
mode? Is there a
towards it.
positive? Has it made him a hero?
He has not generally been known to be like, this whole pro Kannada thing or whatever he's never banked on it that much. Like other politicians and so on.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
his political background has been his movement of what we call here in Karnataka, abbreviated to Ahinda, which is minorities, backward classes, and Dalits. And this entire Kannada agitation and so on has not been part of his politics that much. But as for, with regard to what has happened, the desired effect depends on what the intention of launching this thing was. Now, the one thing that is for certain is that even if the IT industry makes a small whimper of noise, any government in power will just cave in. No government has actually ever taken them on seriously. The IT industry has had exemptions from a lot of labor laws also. So nobody is going to seriously take them on.
It's too big a revenue generator. Is that it? It generates too much revenue for the state. That's the main reason. Bas, muft mein itna ich milega. For the full uncut podcast, subscribe to Newslaundry and pay to keep news free. The best way to listen to the Hafta and indeed all our podcasts is through the Newslaundry app. You can download the app by clicking on the links given in the show notes. So do download our app and get the best podcast experience. And also pay for news and support a new news media ecosystem that Newslaundry is trying to encourage, where we are accountable to you because we run on contributions that you make. We don't take government ads, we don't take corporations ads, so that news serves the public, because when the public pays, the public is served. Subscribe to Newslaundry, click on the link in the show notes below and proudly say, I pay to keep news free.